Welcome back to the Lemon Factor. I'm Chad, and we are headed back to the dyno with our project car, the 2019 Mazda MX-5 Miata RF, as part of our exhaust comparison series, where we are comparing the Greddy Supreme SP to the Goodwin Racing Super Sport, Super Street, Super Sport, whatever one it is. Anyway, as part of the series, we are installing the axleback portion first. We are testing the sound. We then put it on the dyno and test to see how much horsepower and torque it produces. Then we add the midpipe, etc., etc. So this video is the dyno of the Greddy Supreme SP, both with the axleback installed and the midpipe. And I want to see if the money spent on a full header back exhaust system is worth it. Did we gain any horsepower or any torque? We did gain some sound. According to the last video, the peak decibels haven't changed much, but that doesn't tell the entire story. After driving this car for a little while now, I will tell you that it has an even deeper growl to it with the midpipe installed, but it also does have a drone. And while driving around town, it's not that big of a deal. On the highway, it is very noticeable, and I'm not sure if I like it enough to keep it on the car. However, I might be able to be swayed if we find out that the midpipe is adding a good amount of horsepower and or torque. There's only one way to find out. Let's head to the dyno, let's strap the car down, and let's find out what we've gained. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing, turn on notifications, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like. Peak horsepower and peak torque increased a little bit, not much, just a little bit. And if you looked at that alone, it really would not tell the entire story. You probably question whether or not it's worthwhile to even install a midpipe. Now, I would say yes, it is. And that's because if you look at the space under the graph across the RPMs, it's clear that we added both horsepower and torque. Not as much. We average about 3 to 4 horsepower across the RPM range, but we added about 5 foot-pounds of torque across the RPM range. So that's nice. Again, this is on top of what we've already seen as far as gains from just adding the axle back. Take a look at how the entire Greddy Supreme SP, the mid-pipe along with the axle back, compares to the stock exhaust system. Overall, pretty happy with the results. From a performance, from a horsepower perspective. However, for me, I still question whether or not this would be a system that I would keep on the car long term. If this was my daily driver, which it is not, probably not. I don't know that I could handle the drone on the highway. As this is my occasional car, my fun car, I would consider probably keeping it on, especially if I don't do a lot of highway driving. But nonetheless, we're not going to stop here. The next step is we're going to remove the Greddy and we're going to now install the Goodwin Racing, the axle back first. We're going to see how it sounds compared to the Greddy. We're going to then put it on the dyno and see if there's a difference compared to the Greddy. And then we're going to add Goodwin Racing mid-pipe. And at the end of it, we'll be able to compare to see if there's really a big difference between the Greddy system and the Goodwin Racing. With that said, thank you for joining, and until next time.